Well, Corey Bretts,
Yeah, well, Phil.
look at us coming together yet again.
Yeah.
I think we've had, is it 20 years? 15 years anyway, of some amount of a relationship.
I don't know. It's been pretty sweet. And I'm really looking forward to this next iteration of primary integration training pit that we'll be running coming soon.
We get to do it again.
We get to do it again. Yeah. What was your first pit experience, Phil?
Holy
Or-
shit. So it was back in like 2003. And I was super excited. Came off my New Warrior Training Adventure, the NWTA, and I was blown away by that. And but getting into the pit with some not particularly super savvy guys, they were local guys in the Cranbrook Kimberley area that came together to put this on. But it gave me a chance to really start to delve into what I had uncovered at the NWTA. And that one was over, it was over 8 weeks, I think. So it was maybe a little drawn out. I know some guys like that 8 week format. I prefer the weekend intensive format myself.
Yeah. Mine was the same. It was an 8 week event in the evenings, and then a weekend at the very end of it. What I recall was, for me, it was a discovery of emotional intelligence. I really had no language for what was going on inside my interior. All these sensations, these feelings, and feeling often like I was being batted around by a storm, So primary integration training was one of those things that helped me really gain some self-awareness on how to live through those emotions, but B, then to turn around and how to use them as data so I could move forward and make better decisions in my life and show up more, authentically.
Yeah. So yours was within about a month or 6 weeks of doing your NWTA?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Great. And then you landed into an I group somewhere in the Vancouver area?
Yeah. The I group, men's support group has been a staple in my life ever since. I consider myself to be an average bear, but I'm a creature of habit. So being in an I group and being continuously being refreshed of these concepts that are in primary integration training helps me continuously remember to use them in my own personal life.
It's a great place to. I mean, so the I group, the pit's a different beast, but the pit does set us up to sit in an I group, and for me, the I group over the last 20 some odd years has been the place to really oil the machinery and also to experiment. It's a safe place to experiment with some of the changes that I want to institute, because sometimes out there in the so-called real world, it's hard for me to speak my truth, as it were, with my boss or with my partner. And I get to experiment with that in I groups and see how it works and see what tweaks that I may want to make when I bring it back to the so-called real world.
Yeah, totally. The primary integration training has a whole whack of practical tools and processes that allow guys to very positively and constructively contribute to building that container week after week in their I group to be able to create the space so it's safe, so it's tough and resilient, and so that there's a culture of compassionate curiosity and sort of awareness of the parts of ourselves that we repress and that sort of come out sideways in negative ways. That is actually welcome and noticed and then worked with, in a positive way.
I like that you use the word tough, because it is compassionate, but it's fiercely compassionate and curious. I mean, guys are typically not going to let me get away with my BS. I get called on my BS and held to account, and that's the kind of just that toughness is that loving toughness is just what I think I need and what a lot of men need to make those changes.
Yeah. That toughness especially shows up in things like accountability
Yeah.
and integrity. I'm a pretty slippery character, and it's easy for me to forget that my actions and my words in the world have impact on those around me. Yet the processes that we run in these I groups and that we teach in Pit help us get really clear on those impacts, and then figure out, okay, what's really happening inside of me that's making me do those things, and then be able to take control of it and create a different script.
Yeah, so you get the chance to look at, I thought I had uncovered my shadow at the NWTA, and what I realized thereafter was that there was all kinds of facets to that one shadow, and it was slippery because it morphed when it got when I found out about that one. It could have morphed and went over here for a bit, but then I also realized there's at least several other significant shadow beliefs that I took on in childhood, and starting to uncover some of those I started to, in my mind, started to become a more well-rounded grown ass man as I developed over the years of attending I groups.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
I talked a little bit about. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, sort of along those lines, that we sort of touch our shadow at the weekend, and then we sort of get an opportunity to go really deep and see all the layers and facets of it. And what I discovered was I had left my childhood with a whole raft of limiting beliefs and dysfunctional coping behaviors. And I was wondering, well, why is my life so crappy? That's why, you know, and a pit and I group was a great way to start to deconstruct them and rebuild them, with more functional ways of responding.
This is kind of deeper, and I'll just mention it, and then maybe we can come back to it. But the other thing I learned or believed when I came off my NWTA was that my shadow was bad and had to be gotten rid of. And I think we're still kind of in that. It's a first dip into the work, but I think the pit is where we start to teach that the shadow actually has tremendous energy and tremendous positive growth promoting energy in it, and mining that has become an incredible source of growth for me as well. Not
Yeah.
so much. It's not about hide, repress, and deny yet again. It's about uncover and then mine that for the tremendous amount of gold and energy that's wrapped up in that shadow.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's for me. It's about noticing, allowing, accepting, and then even forgiving, and then loving. Why? Because I created that thing, right? And most of these things, I don't think they ever go away. At least they don't for me. I just learn how to live with them, and as you say, to sort of reassign them to more useful functions.
Yeah. More useful, more on the balance. How does that work for you? And creating a balance where it does work for me to hold these shadows. I
Yeah.
don't know that we're ever going to cure shadow.
No.
I don't think that the NWTA cures it, nor PIT, nor iGroups, but I think gaining awareness of it and working with it so that on the balance it is serving me where I want to go with my life and how I want to relate to my loved ones.
Yeah.
I think that's high level growth.
Yeah, exactly. And that funnels into being able to get oneself off the drama triangle.
Yeah, yeah.
The struggle between the being the victim and then being the perpetrator or being the rescuer. Bouncing
Oh
around in
man,
it.
we talked a little bit about what to bring in as curriculum, and the drama triangle would be a great add-on. I know we have used it at
Yeah,
some point or another. There's just so much material to work with in the
yeah,
pit, and we'll have to have some further discussions about each iteration of this pit training and see what we bring into it and what how we can benefit the men that are participating as best as possible. Yeah, I'm excited. I think one of the other things that I find with this pit training is it gives us a chance to start to go through each of the rounds of what it looks like to sit and be an active member in an I group, and that includes some of the archetypal stuff that we're going to be going through and how it relates to each round. So, for example, the lover round is where we start typically in an I group, and it's all about connection and it's all about the East and relationships and so we'll bring in the archetypes and we'll bring in how that functions in the lover round, moving into the warrior round and then moving into we'll bring in some of the processes that you might see in the magician round as well. Thing and warrior round, for example, would be clearings and accountability.
Accountability.
Yeah, incredible processes that you'll learn some of the importance of them, but also how to actually run some of those your own self, rather than sitting back and watching other guys run them. Being able to learn how to step up and begin to run those yourself in an I group, and then finishing up with the sovereign round, which I get a sense that oftentimes is overlooked. It's kind of stuffed in at the end, and the sovereign round can be such an incredible part of sitting in an I group. I crave blessing. I know I craved it even more when I was 20 years old, 30 years old. And now I really enjoy actually giving some of those blessings. And I think men of all ages, in the giving or in the receiving, get to benefit from the sovereign round, some of the incredible experiences there.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah. What else? What have we forgotten?
Uh, we covered cured. We covered ongoing work. Yeah, I just want to reemphasize that I think for me, the NWTA was about opening the door and seeing what was on the other side. And once that door was opened, I could never fully close it again. And the pit training and I groups in particular give me a chance to continue to open and close that door of what's possible on the other side with awareness of my shadow. Oil those rusty hinges and just be able to do that so that it serves the awareness of those shadows, serves the balance of my life going forward. Excited to be involved, excited to learn with, because every time that I'm involved, I think maybe you could say the same is true for you, Corey, is that, man, I feel like I'm learning a bunch of stuff too. I really don't. I hope that we don't give this sort of training from those that know down to those that don't, but it's more of us all at some level or another working together to unfold and be better men in this world for our spouses and our children and our communities.
Absolutely. I've always considered Mankind Project to be a leadership training program. And it's a set of skills and processes and concepts that I use to learn how to turn myself into the leader that I actually am, that I was born as, but I forgot about, to take myself back into that balanced place where I am balancing those sovereign, warrior, lover, magician energies, and doing it in a conscious way in the world. And if I don't lead, someone else is going to lead me, right? And it's not necessarily where I want to go. Yeah. So let's just outline how this pit's going to operate. That's coming up.
But I like some of what's been done recently as a result of COVID, actually, is doing a couple of online meet and greet, get the container, get the relationship going. One or two of those online sessions leading up to a weekend intensive where we can launch, quickly into the deeper work without having to go through the introductions and the textbook training. We can get that out of the way in the online version as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I hope we will bring to, I don't know, for the next, 5 or so years, is some kind of blend of those two, the online where everyone can attend easily on a Tuesday evening or a Monday evening or whatever it may be, and then come together on a Friday and continue the work through the weekend.
Yeah. So if there's guys listening to this video right now, a great place to mention this primary integration training is in your I group during a business round. To invite your fellow attendees, your fellow warrior brothers, who some of them may not have even have heard of primary integration training, to check the link attached to this video and move off to the website. You can purchase a ticket for PIT right on our website with your credit card, and then we'll send you the location information and the exact schedule times, as well as the Zoom links for the online sessions.
Yeah, so come on out, join us for the next iteration, whenever that might be in your community, and let's do this work together.
We'll see you at primary integration training.